Okay, what colors?
Black, yellow, black, yellow, black, yellow, black, yellow.
Very good, thank you guys. Welcome to our show today. I'm Caterpillar's Chief Technology Officer. My name's Tana Utley, and I'm actually a second generation Caterpillar engineer. My dad worked here before I did, and in fact holds several patents in the areas of transmission design and also machine design. In fact, he holds the original patent on the pipe layer counterweight that's used in industry today. There's a lot of generations of Caterpillar engineers that have worked to bring value to our customers. And it goes all the way back to Benjamin Holt. Benjamin Holt is the guy who invented the track-type tractor. He looked at the tractors of the day back in 1904, and by the way, none of them are here, but he looked at those tractors and they were behemoths. They were 30,000 pounds. Can you imagine that? 30,000 pounds. And in order to bear that weight, had 6-foot tall steel wheels, banks of them several feet wide, so that the tractor was 30 to 40 feet wide in order to bear that load. And it was a dog. It had less than 100 horsepower. So Benjamin Holt looked at that tractor and said there has to be a better way. And so he invented the track-type tractor. In fact, you see our D2 out there as you came in, one of our very first models. But he wasn't done there. He thought, we still have that doggy problem to solve. So he put cat diesel power in the tractor. And back in 1931, old Betsy, she was invented, and now she resides in the Smithsonian Institute because of the enormous impact she's had on actually our productivity in our country. And it's been used in wars and all around, big impact. So we have generations of Caterpillar engineers through me up to my dad and then into the future. And there's quite a few of them and they're working every day. But as they work, we keep those ladies and gentlemen focused, and we keep them focused on 3 things. We keep them focused first and foremost on customer value. That's the most important. Second thing we keep them focused on, leveraging. I mentioned generations of Caterpillar engineers and technology. We expect our engineers to stand on the shoulders of those before them, dig deep into our repertoire of hydraulics, electronics, transmission design, engine design, and the ability to design a machine. So leverage the Caterpillar legacy, and then finally, sustainability. Now that has 2 meanings, sustainability. It's the sustainability of our customers' business and sustainability of the environment. Now I want to talk about the word innovation. That's what we pay our Caterpillar engineers to do. There's a difference between innovation and invention. I'm going to ask my guys in white here to help me with answering a question. So the question is, if it's an invention, but it doesn't simultaneously meet customer value and sustainability and leverage, is that an innovation? No. If it does meet all 3, is it? Yes, absolutely. So we call that the power of and, simultaneously meeting all 3 of these building blocks. That's what this one's all about. And they use innovative thinking to do that. We have 3,500 patents in our portfolio. And we have 8,000 engineers working every day on the behalf of our customers to help them do their work using less money than if you were to buy a competitive product. We're spending $7 million a day, those 8,000 engineers. And as they spend that money, the innovative thinking, they've developed technologies like the ASSERT technology that's won awards. Innovative thinking led to proprietary heat treat processes like we use in Caterpillar gears that make them so much more robust. Innovative thinking led to this beautiful D7E that I have over here. And on that note, it's not just, you think about the D7E and somebody said, wow, electric drive. I was talking to a customer, he said, electric drive. And you think of that as a thing, a component, but that's not where the real innovation is. It's really in how that electric drive is coupled with the engine and how it's controlled together, and then how we put the rest of the tractor system around them, around that powertrain, and then even look at the different architecture we have for this machine. That's systems integration, and that's what you can expect from CAT, and that's one of the benefits CAT has over the competition. Now, while we'd love to sell our customers a D7E, in fact, I was trying to talk somebody into buying one here just a few minutes ago, but he said he needed more of a D6 size machine. I told him to go into the exhibit hall. Got a nice D6T with a Tier 4 engine in there. So while we'd love to sell our customers machines for the future, we also realize that our customers are living with our past. They're really living with our legacy. They'll have several machines in their fleets, you know, sometimes decades old. Caterpillar machines last 10 or 20 or 30 years old. So we have our engineers and business people thinking about how to bring sustainability to those products. So if you take a look over here to your right, there's a 980 wheel loader. That's been a refurbished wheel loader. It's the 5,000th machine that we've done that refurbishing on. When it came to CAT, to Wayne Supply, it had 30,000 hours on it. Now think about it, that's a lot of hours. Now if that were your car, that'd be the same as having 1.2 million miles on it. Now what would you do with your car? Anybody have a car with 1.2 million miles on it? Okay. How about our young people? Anybody ever here have a car with you? No? So guys, cars don't last that long. CAT machines do. But what would you do with your car at 30,000 hours or 1.2 million miles? It'd be ready for the junk heap. So at CAT, we can breathe new life into that machine. So as we refurbish that machine that you see over there, we brought it from Tier 1 emissions up to Tier 3. You know, that's sustainability. And we improved the owning and operating cost. And the best yet, really, to me, is that we were able to do that while reusing 90% of the hardware and the iron on the machine. So it's largely reused. So that's really a sustainable solution. Our engineers back in Peoria, while I'm out here and around the world, by the way, of R&D centers all over the world, including China and India, while I'm out here enjoying the sunshine, they're working on a future. And so you might think, what are they working on? What do those 8,000 people do every day? Every week is neat. Back there, somebody's always coming up with something neat. I'll tell you about a couple of things we're working on. In the engine area, of course, we're all thinking about fuel consumption all the time, so we have engineers looking at alternative kinds of firing cycles, advanced fuel injection systems. We know that greenhouse gas is an emerging concern for our customers and also for all around the world. So we're looking at alternative fuels. And in fact, we're involved in something called the Energy Technologies Institute. There's a consortium of companies in the United Kingdom as well as Caterpillar and also the British government. And what we're doing there is to make sure that we can identify some solutions to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And rest assured that as Caterpillar is doing it, we're going to keep these foundational principles in mind. Sustainability, yes, but also we have to provide customer value as we reduce those greenhouse gas emissions. Now I mentioned Energy Technologies Institute, and that first word is energy. And really, a lot of engineering, especially mechanical engineering, which is the kind I am, really studies the translation of one form of energy into another form of energy. So if you think about how that works in your CAT machine, you know, you're putting in diesel fuel and then it translates into, you know, work at the blade. So engineers study the translation of that energy and work on more efficient ways to do it. So we're looking at it component by component and system by system. If you take a wheel loader, a cycling machine, I'm going like this because it goes back and forth, lots of cycling there, about a third of the energy that's used by a wheel loader is lost in losses in that powertrain. So we're looking at ways, alternative kinds of powertrains. You see the CVT over here, and of course we have the electric drive and the D7E, looking at alternative powertrains in order to reduce that energy consumption and also provide smooth operation. In the area of hydraulics, an excavator, a hydraulic excavator, consumes over 50% of its energy. That fuel you put in the tank is lost in the hydraulic system due to hydraulic losses. So our engineers are going way back to a blank sheet of paper, looking at brand new architectures or system designs for hydraulics, looking at all the details, looking at the losses in each and every one of those components, looking at parasitic losses, looking at the losses in the lines, and also looking at ways to recover that energy is wasted in the hydraulic system. Now, people are in this equation too. People are our customers and people operate our machines. And our customers tell us that one of the highest causes of inefficiency in a work site is operator inefficiency. In fact, some of our customers have said to us, you know, if everybody could just run my machine like my most efficient operator, Joe, I'd be so much happier and so much more productive. So what we have in beta testing, not in production, but we have in beta testing, a learning algorithm that we can put on machines. So if there's a machine that's running with several different operators, the machine measures the performance of each and every one of those operators and learns what that operator is doing with the controls. And then as the less efficient operators are in the cab, provides coaching in the cab to help that less efficient operator become more like the more efficient operator. We found that can improve productivity by about 10%. Now, one step more advanced really is taking that blade control out of the operator's hands, and that's what we really do with AccuGrade technology. You know, that's launch goes back into the 90s, our research there, and it started in mining. Great big tractors, D11 size tractors, large mining, taking the blade control out of the operator hands. Then we moved that to medium tractors, and today we have it in scrapers. It's brand new, as you see in our machine there in Exhibit Hall with a 627. We also have it in excavators, and we also have it in graders. We did a test at our Malaga site, a kind of a back-to-back test. That's one of the fun things about working here. You get to do things on back-to-back tests on things like building a road. A back-to-back test with and without those technologies. And what we found is using the AccuGrade technology, we reduced the fuel required to build the road by 43% and reduced the time required to build the road in 52%. So really, really great results. And if operator variability is a concern, what better way to reduce that than to eliminate the variable itself? And that's why we're working on autonomy. Working on autonomous mining trucks, and you'll see those come out from CAT in the future. Tremendous value proposition for our customer for those in the area of safety, and also reducing the demand to get operators to remote sites where it's difficult to get them going. I think perhaps the most interesting statistic about our development there is you'd never guess who called us and asked us to work with them and ask them for a little help. NASA. NASA is looking for a way to be able, via remote control, to build a landing strip on the moon for the next generation of a space shuttle. Of course, you know it's going to be manless. So they knew when they thought of machines and building and advanced technology, they thought of CAT. They gave our research department a call, and we have a collaboration ongoing with them right now to help them with that program. I'm thrilled that we're able to help on something like that. And I'm thrilled for the opportunity our engineers have to work with some of the finest. And NASA guys are just thrilled to be working with us because we're so practical, actually get things to production. So that's a glimpse into some of the things we're working on in the future. And some of our future is real far out future. You know, I go to work every day. Sometimes I see something somebody's working on and think, bear an open mind, bear an open mind. Because we really do go way back to ground zero, applying innovative thinking, because we've given our engineers a real tough challenge here to simultaneously meet all those three. But we've given them quite a legacy of inventions, innovations, and some of the stuff you see here is what they're committed to do is they want to be the shoulders that the future generation of Caterpillar engineers stand on so that we can provide that next generation with customers with the value they expect from Caterpillar. So thanks everybody for attending today. I'll be hanging around here for a while if anybody's got any questions.